Assemblywoman Garcia, come on up.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I'll be presenting
Good morning.
AB 903.
Yes, you may begin.
AB 903 permits a person who is between 18 and 21 years of age to obtain a work permit in order to be employed in a gambling establishment as long as they do not work as dealers, floor personnel, or any other employment classification that involves working on the floor. While the economy has improved, California's current unemployment rate is 6.4%. Over 1.2 million Californians remain unemployed, with some cities having double-digit unemployment numbers, including my hometowns. For instance, the city of Commerce currently has 10.7% unemployment rate. There are many Californians in the 18 to 21 years of age range that are currently looking for work opportunities. Some of these Californians include veterans, single parents, and some college students that need work while they complete their education. This bill will permit individuals to work as secretaries, waiters or waitresses, maintenance personnel, and data processing personnel. The bill creates an employment opportunity.
And thank you, Assemblywoman. You have a witness in support of the bill, and this is a due pass recommendation, by the way.
Mr. Chair and members, Marvin Pineda on behalf of Commerce Casino, Bicycle Casino, and Hawaiian Garden in support of the bill, and here to answer any questions that you may have.
Very good. Thank you, sir, for your testimony. Any other witnesses in support? Seeing none, any witnesses in opposition? Please come forward. Reverend, they have you very busy today, huh?
Yes, they do. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Reverend Butler from the California Coalition Against Gambling Expansion. Mr. Chair, members of the committee, I know you know this bill well. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail of what it does, but I will ask a simple question: why are we doing it? The only reason this bill makes sense, if we do not have people over the age of 21 willing to work in these positions. And if they're not willing to work in these positions, it must be because the wage is simply not sufficient to hire and maintain them. There's a lot of discussion that takes place about people who struggle with minimum wage and lower wage positions. And I'm suggesting that instead of lowering the age, we simply ask these companies to raise the wage. And in this way, we'll still have full employment of those positions, and there will be adequate compensation to hire people who are over 21, as we do not think those under 21 belong in a gambling venue. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Reverend, for your testimony. Reverend, would you pray for the committee today?
I could right now?
No. No.
I am ready.
Okay.
But thank you. I will. Yes, I will.
Thank you. Well, I'm not ready for a prayer right now. We'll do it later.
Also play for the authors.
Any other witnesses in opposition? Comments, concern, unreadiness from the members? This is a due pass recommendation. Assemblywoman, would you like to close?
I also request a little prayer for myself. My mom prays for me every day, but I could use the extras today. I want to thank you for this. This bill is not about the 21-year-olds or older not wanting to or able to work in the car clubs, casinos, but it's about expanding who's eligible. And this way we're not picking winners or losers. An 18-year-old can smoke, can vote, can do a lot of things, and so I think they can also work in these establishments. I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Absolutely. Thank you, Assemblywoman. And is there a motion on the bill? This bill was improperly moved. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Motion is due pass. Hall?
Aye.
Hall, aye. Berryhill?
Aye.
Berryhill, aye. Block? Aye. Block, aye. Gaines? Galgiani? Aye. Galgiani, aye. Glazer? Aye. Glazer, aye. Hernandez? Aye. Hernandez, aye. Hill? Hueso? Lara? McGuire? Aye. McGuire, aye. Runner? No. Runner, no. Vidak?
7-1.
Okay, that has enough votes to get out, but we'll hold the roll open for the absent members.
I appreciate that. AB 701, I will be pulling that bill at this moment to try to continue to work
Thank you.
with the opposition, and I respect all of the comments. Mr. Berryhill, thank you for your suggestions.
Thank you, and it's noted. Thank you, Assemblywoman. Thank you. All right, I see the darling of the Dems present, Mr. Bonta. Item 23, AB 1432.
Mr. Chairman, good morning, and Senators. Good to see everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to be here in front of you. I want to start by accepting the committee's suggested amendment, and would like to thank the chair and the chair's staff, committee staff for your work on this issue. Thank you very much. Today I present to you AB 1432, which in its current form would enact into law the April 2015 rate recommendation by the Board of Pilot Commissioners. The board licenses and regulates up to 60 pilots who guide ships of 750 gross tons or greater in the bays of San Francisco, San Pablo, Suisun, and Monterey, and on tributaries to ports in Stockton and Sacramento. The board recommends rates to the legislature after a lengthy process that includes hearings and public input. In April 2015, the board recommended and unanimously approved a rate change of 3% each in 2016 and 2017, and 2% each in 2018 and 2019. Mr. Chair and Senators, the reason I put forth this bill is because this industry has a direct impact on my district and throughout the state. The San Francisco Bar Pilots and the Pacific Merchant Shipping Association provide a critical service, ensuring goods are moved safely and efficiently across our waterways. I've been working diligently with the parties to hopefully reach a consensus that satisfies all our stakeholders, and I respectfully request that this bill move forward to continue our discussions. Thank you for your consideration, Mr. Chair and Senators.
Very well. Thank you, and thank you for working with the committee as well on amendments. I appreciate that. You have witnesses present?
I have with me in support Captain Peter McIsaac, President of the San Francisco Bar Pilots, as well as Shay Salinas.
Very good. Thank you. It's good to see you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Your mic. Push the button. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Senators and staff. My name is Peter McIsaac, President, Port Agent, San Francisco Bar Pilots. I'd like to thank Assemblyman Bonta for his leadership on this issue. Like he said, in short, AB 1432 incorporates a recommendation of the California Board of Pilot Commissioners, which includes a modest increase in rates charged by the San Francisco Bar Pilots, which is the first such increase in 10 years. This was done to address a 33% increase in expenses during that time. We understand industry continues to have concerns with the board's recommendation. Although the bar pilots support the board's recommendations, we have committed to the author, the chair, as well as committee members to continue working on the issue of rates with industry throughout the summer recess, and we'll work towards a potential compromise. Again, we thank Member Bonta and members of the committee. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other witnesses? Support?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, Mitch Seaman with the California Labor Federation, also here in support. We would associate ourselves with the previous comments. We would also just emphasize the fact that this ratifies the rates that were already unanimously approved by the Board of Pilot Commissioners, and that these rates have not been raised since 2002. We believe it's time, and we urge your support.
Very good. Thank you. Any other witnesses in support? Opposition?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members. Mike Jacob with the Pacific Merchant Shipping Association. And we're opposed to the content of the bill as it stands now, but obviously not opposed to moving forward with the consensus process. And we'd like to thank the author for putting the bill in the context of going where angels fear to tread sometimes. This can be a relatively controversial issue given the high levels of compensation that are being discussed. And as members of this panel might recall, the last few times it was in front of this panel, it did not pass. So what we're trying to do is work through these issues in conjunction with the author's office. We're happy to engage and continue to engage with this committee and staff over the summer recess and maintain your guys' involvement. And hopefully when the bill moves forward to the floor, it'll be with a full consensus and agreement on what rates do represent covering expenses. And as industry, what we're doing is we're committing to a process where we're covering additional expenses of the pilots and paying for navigation technology surcharge upgrades to the technology that the pilots need to bring their vessels in. Beyond that, we do have a dispute with the existing recommendation with respect to whether or not you need to increase pilot salaries beyond the $450,000 level. And we do have some additional issues we brought to the table. And again, the pilots have been considering those. We thank the author for facilitating the process. And hopefully we'll have a good result before any of you see this bill again. Thank you.
Very good, thank you. Other witnesses in opposition?
Sandy George, representing both Maersk Lines and the Cruise Lines International Association. We have a similar position to PMSA. Maersk actually did end up opposing the bill. Our main concern is the additional increase in the tonnage rates for the maritime industry right now. They have 18 shipping lines, and only 3 are profitable. So any of these issues are of major concern to them, but we are more than willing to work on the process and hope we do reach a consensus this summer.
Thank you. Any other witnesses in opposition? Comments, concerns, and readiness for the members? Yes, Senator Glazer.
Thank you. I'm supportive of the chair's recommendation, but I did have a question. In the event that there is not agreement between the parties, will this be able to come back to this committee for review, or does it simply continue on and it goes to the floor and we bypass this committee on that dispute?
Well, the chair's recommended do pass with the current amendments. So the chair is not going to be requiring the bill to come back to the committee. If there are additional amendments, those amendments will be considered as it moves forward to the next committee and then to the floor. I hope I gave you the short answer of that.
Yeah, but it seems to me, though, that if the dispute continues and it is unresolved, that supporting this recommendation today means there's no chance except on the floor to come up with a different view.
Yeah, so no, that's not accurate. The bill will be moving to appropriations, and any other amendments could be handled in between now and the time it goes to appropriations. And then thereafter, it can also, additional amendments can be taken up before it actually goes to the floor. So you have several opportunities for there to be some consensus on the bill. As it is right now, the chair is satisfied with the amendments, so I would not be requiring the bill to come back to GO.
So if the author doesn't accede to any changes in
Yes.
the 10% recommendation along the process, it will not come back before this committee. So if these negotiations break down, which I know we don't want to see happen,
Absolutely not.
but if they do break down, it means that this bill with that recommendation is going to be going to the floor.
Absolutely. Basically, yes, you're right.
So the committee will have lost its opportunity as a committee to cast judgment about that 10%, with the exception of what we're doing today.
Yeah,
And that's my concern about it.
Yeah, the committee, as is recommended to do pass with the amendments as is. However, the author can work with individual members to address specific concerns as the bill is moving forward. And those concerns can also be taken up in appropriations and thereafter.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Senator Hernandez.
Yeah, I'd like to also follow up with questions that Senator Glazer is articulating. So I'm hearing from both sides. I heard from the proponents that the willingness to work over the summer. I've heard it from the opponents, their willingness to work for over the summer. So I guess my question, let me rephrase it in a different format. If in the event that there's no agreement between now and appropriations and now and on the floor, is there a willingness for both sides to hold it in this House until agreement is made? That's the question I have.
We would agree with that.
Of course you would.
Yeah. But what about the proponents? Is there a willingness as well from the proponent side?
Senator Hernandez, Chase Salinas on behalf of the San Francisco Bar Pilots. To both your point and Senator Glazer's point, I think, obviously, I believe the author, we're going to defer to the judgment on the author on how to best proceed on these issues. There's obviously interest on both parties to find a compromise. I don't think anyone wants to move this any further until something is reached. We would not want to put the author in a position of not fulfilling that agreement. I think there would be a willingness to have whatever amendments are taken heard by this committee again, if it seems to be the interest of some of the members here of the committee is to have, you know, a potential compromise reheard, or to have us individually talk to members of the committee about what that compromise is. We could do that as well.
Well, I guess the reason why I ask, because I'm kind of in the same spot where Senator Glazer is I would prefer a compromise, and I'd be willing to vote for the bill if there's a commitment not to move it off the floor unless there was a compromise. Otherwise, I'll just lay off.
Yeah, and
I can pose that question.
Right.
And if you got the votes, you got the votes. I mean, that's just where I'm at.
Right, but we also have to understand that there has to be a willingness to compromise. I mean, to say that, you know, I'm willing to work through the summer does not give me any comfortability and assurance that there is a level of sincerity to compromise. Knowing that there, you know, could possibly be a perspective where you say, "Hey, I don't want to do anything," and then we're not moving forward at all, and that's not a place where I want to be. You know, I want to see something get done, and so that's why I say we'll move the bill forward today, and let's work out and let the chair and I will, if there's some comfort with the committee, I'll reserve the right to bring the bill back to committee. All right. And so I will make a commitment to call the bill back if necessary. All right? Yes.
I'd be happy to move the bill with the understanding that the chair just stated, as well as the amendments that have been offered.
All right, very good. All right, any other witnesses in opposition? All right, Bonta, I'll take that as your close. The bill has been moved. Please call the roll.
Motion is due pass as amended and re-refer to appropriations. Hall.
Aye.
Hall, aye. Berryhill. Block.
Aye.
Block, aye. Gaines.
No.
Gaines, no. Galgiani.
Aye.
Galgiani, aye. Glazer.
Aye.
Glazer, aye. Hernandez.
Aye.
Hernandez, aye. Hill. Hueso. Lara. McGuire.
Aye.
McGuire, aye. Runner.
No.
Runner, no. Vidak. 6-2.
Okay, we'll keep the roll open for the absent members.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Senators.
Yes. Come on up, Assemblywoman Campos. Item 3. And that's AB 80.
It's good to see you, Senator.
Likewise. That's always good to see you.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and members. I present to you AB 80, a bill that seeks to address the racial disparity that limits the success of our California's young men of color. It is projected that by 2050, California's male population will be nearly 80% boys and men of color, and yet the disproportionate number of Latinos, African Americans, Native American, Southeast Asian males are trapped in a cycle of poverty, prison, and disadvantage. AB 80 would establish a 19-member interagency task force to align state agencies to take a coordinated response in meeting the challenges of the diverse population that we face here in California. The bill would align existing programs with the priorities outlined in my Brother's Keeper Task Force report in the President's agenda. AB 80 would assess the governor's budget to identify those areas in which the budget priorities are in alignment with the objectives of the task force. Currently, everyone is operating in silos. We're having hearings, meetings in silos. It is the responsibility of us at the state to start working in conjunction so that as we bring the experts together, they're sitting across the table from each other and being able to have a same conversation so that we're not repeating the same cycle of our young men and boys of color not being able to move in this state of California in a successful manner. It is time for us to start taking the initiative to make sure that all men and boys of color are successful. I have my speakers, and I hopefully, respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Well, thank you, Assemblywoman. This is a fantastic bill, and I applaud you for taking this on. In my opinion, it's something that should have been done a long time ago. We are long overdue. Our young boys and men of color are in crises up and down the state, and I think this is a very huge step and bringing some accountability, particularly as it relates to resources that we are providing on a statewide level. So again, thank you for this bill. I look forward to supporting this bill, and we'll be encouraging the members of the committee to do so as well. And you have witnesses in favor of the bill. The bill has been properly moved by Mr. Block. We're going to allow 2 of your witnesses to briefly give comments, and then we'll move forward. We recognize that there is a myriad of support by everyone here. This is a very important bill, and so please note that the absence of a long testimony does not mean that we disrespect what you're saying, okay? We totally agree to what you're saying. Yes, please go forward.
Great, thank you very much. My name is Kasasi Brooks, and I am with the Alliance for Boys and Men of Color, one of the sponsors of the bill, and also Policy Link. And first, I want to really thank Assembly Member Campos for her leadership on this bill. You know, I'm really here to speak in support of AB 80, creating this interagency task force on the status of boys and men of color. First of all, the Alliance of Boys and Men of Color is a coalition of youth, community, public systems leaders, and policy researchers and advocates working to ensure that our most vulnerable youth get the tools and supports they need to develop into healthy, successful adults who can contribute to California's social and economic vitality. Across California, as you all know, boys and men of color continue to face serious impediments to succeed, as evidenced by the percentage of those who graduate high school, who attend college, who obtain employment, and who are incarcerated. AB 80 is going to bring together all the key agencies to have a systematic discussion and to find solutions on what is preventing our young men and women from thriving. Addressing this issue is not only a matter of fairness and equality, it's essential to improving the economic strength and competitiveness of the state. AB 80 ensures that all of our young men of color have a fair chance to succeed and thrive. For these reasons, the Alliance for Boys and Men of Color and Policy Link strongly supports AB 80 and urges your support on this important legislation.
Appreciate your testimony. Who would you like to speak?
Hector will go next.
Please.
Good morning. My name is Hector Sanchez Flores. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Committee. I represent the National Compadres Network, who is also a member of the Alliance of Boys and Men of Color. We wholeheartedly appreciate the work that Ms. Campos, Assemblymember Campos, has pushed for this, because as you well know, our young people are struggling in the community. And as a member of California, raising children in California, I think our state requires that we do the best for these constituent members. Our work across the state has taught us that these young people are waiting for us. And so therefore, they're asking us to respond. AB 80 allows us to respond on a systematic, high level. Thank you, and I urge your support.
Thank you for your testimony.
Kimberly Chen with the California Pan-Ethnic Health Network, proud to be in support and urge aye vote. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jasmine Gordon on behalf of the California Black Health Network, in strong support.
Thank you.
Mariah Watson on behalf of the American Civil Liberties Union of California, and we're in strong support.
Thank you for your testimony.
Shireen Walter, California State PTA, the Parent Teacher Association, representing over 800,000 members, in strong support.
And thank you for your work as well. Thank you.
Nick Loretto-Molo with the California Workforce Association, in strong support.
Thank you. Any other witnesses in support? Any witnesses in opposition? Any comments, concerns, and readiness from the members? Yes, Senator Gaines.
Yeah, great. I just wanted to thank Assemblymember Campos for bringing this legislation forward. I've tried to do what I can in terms of helping at-risk young men, because they are struggling I know throughout the state, but certainly within my own community in the Sacramento region here, and I've tried to do what I can to promote the program and help them out. So I appreciate what you're bringing forward. That's much more broad-based. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Assemblywoman, would you like to close?
I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Very good. Senator Block moved. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Motion is due pass and re-refer to appropriations. Hall.
Aye.
Hall, aye. Berryhill. Berryhill, aye. Block.
Aye.
Block, aye. Gaines.
Aye.
Gaines, aye. Galgiani.
Aye.
Galgiani, aye. Glazer.
Aye.
Glazer, aye. Hernandez. Hernandez, aye. Hill. Hueso. Lara. McGuire. McGuire, I. Runner. Runner, I. Vidak.
9-0.
Okay, that bill's out. We'll keep the
Thank
roll
you.
open for absent members. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice. Muchas gracias.
AB 85, Assemblymember Wilk, item 4. Please come forward. Oh, Bloom. Was Bloom? Oh, sign in order. Sign in order. Wilk is first. Yes.
And I've got a meeting with the speaker, so I'd appreciate it.
That I'm not concerned about. This is the Senate.
I am, but I understand that. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. and
Thank you. I
members.
just want to make sure you know you're on the red carpet.
I'm aware.
Very good. You may continue.
Thank you, sir. AB,
Don't tell her I said that.
I would never, I'd never betray your confidence.
She's a dear friend.
Thank you, sir. AB 85 clarifies the loophole in the Bagley-Keene Act in order to ensure state boards and agencies are conducting all meetings in an open, transparent manner. Current law allows agencies to exploit the loophole and has become a common practice to establish 2-member bodies in order not to hold public meetings. All this bill does is conform the Bagley-Keene Act to amendments that were put into the Brown Act back in 1993. This bill is based upon the bill I did last session, AB 2058, which passed off the Assembly floor 77-0, the Senate floor 33-0. Unfortunately, was vetoed by the governor, who had concerns that some of the language was too broad. So we've come back with a tailored version to meet his concerns. I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Very good. Thank you. Any witnesses in support? Witnesses in opposition, please come forward.
Hi, I'm Roseanne Helms. I'm representing the Board of Behavioral Sciences. And the Board of Behavioral Sciences is opposed to AB 85 as written today. The board strongly supports public transparency, but it believes that the Bagley-Keene Act already upholds this. And in addition, the board believes, as written, this bill, it would be unduly burdensome to ensure meetings that's not hosting comply with Bagley-Keene just because they have a board member attending, and would therefore provide a disincentive for board members to represent the board at outside meetings and events. This would hinder the board's outreach efforts. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony.
John Burke, representing the Board of Psychology. We oppose the bill. This bill would prevent the board and all its various committees from asking fewer than 3 members to review a document, draft a letter, provide expert analysis, or work on legal language without giving public notice. Under current law, the advisory activities of these 2-member bodies are already vetted and voted upon in a publicly noticed meeting of the whole committee or board. We strongly believe in open government, but the new requirements would be burdensome on staff time and resources. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments, any other witnesses in opposition? Comments, concerns?
Move the bill.
The bill's been properly moved. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Motions do pass and re-refer to appropriations. Hall.
Aye.
Hall, aye. Berryhill. Berryhill, aye. Block. Block, aye. Gaines. Gaines, aye. Galgiani. Aye. Galgiani, aye. Glazer. Glazer, aye. Hernandez. Hernandez, aye. Hill. Hueso. Laura. McGuire. McGuire, aye. Runner. Runner, aye. Vidak.
Okay, that bill has 9, enough to get out, but we'll keep the roll open for other members to add on.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right, go make that meeting.